All right, it would help to unmute my mic. So let me start that again. Um, Welcome to the channel. My name is James, and here at 20th and 21st Movies, we are about all things cinema. Tonight, we're continuing our Director Spotlight series, where we'll turn the spotlight on a specific director. We'll share a few films from that director's filmography and just give you a taste of what that director has done and what they've contributed to the world of cinema. Tonight, we're focused on Ingmar Bergman, Swedish director Ingmar Bergman. I decided to do this live. This is my very first one of these live. Usually these are pre-recorded videos that I put out there, but I figured just in the interest of time and in the interest of expediency, this is the best format to deliver Taste of Ingmar Bergman films. It also comes at a really nice time because we are at the very beginning of the 50% off Criterion collection sale at Barnes & Noble that I think many of us are enjoying. And so it's a great time to talk about Ingmar Bergman films because a lot of his films are in the collection. So I'm making this a taste of Bergman films and some Criterion collection recommendations because there are a ton of films from this amazing director that you need to know about. And if you have not tried any of his films, maybe tonight you may want to take a listen to this and learn a little bit about some of the films that he's made and his contribution to cinema, and maybe you might want to give some of his films a try. And there's no better time than during the 50% off sale. So on the other side of this, we'll talk about some of the Ingmar Bergman films that you might want to consider adding to your collection. Let's do this. I am still in the discovery phase of Ingmar Bergman films. I am literally a Bergman babe, if you would. I am just beginning to dip my toe into the waters that is the waters of Ingmar Bergman films. And so I'm sort of welcoming you on this journey with me as we explore some of Bergman's films. And I have a ton more of his films to go through. But let me go out here and get some of these comments because it looks like a number of people have jumped on. I literally put this live stream up a few minutes ago, decided to let's just do this live. I've never done one of our Taste of Director series live, and so there's no better time than the present. So let's see who is actually out there. Reginald Miser said, not hearing anything. That's because, Reginald, I had my microphone on mute, so you were not able to hear anything. Doug, I think you may be muted. You're right. Culture Trini said muted. Your mic might be muted, said Gerald. Everybody's telling, okay, Gerald says good now. So yeah, Reginald says, finally made it through the Ingmar Bergman cinema set, except the theatrical cuts of scenes from a marriage and Fanny and Alexander. So you have gotten further than I have, Reginald. Congratulations. I still am journeying through the series. Oh, Basement Blues, Mr. Tony, my neighbor. We've got to hook up, sometime this month if possible. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Gerald, I'm watching my first B&N sale now. To Die For. Great. Yeah, To Die For, starring Nicole Kidman, the Gus Van Sant film on 4K. Really nice addition. Great pickup. Let's see. Doug, what else? Says, hi, James. I got the Bergman set a few years ago, and I absolutely love it, even though I'm not even close to finishing it. We're in about the same boat. I've gone through a good portion of it so far, but I haven't quite completed it yet. It is one of the most satisfying journeys in the Criterion collection, along with like the Agnes Varda set, the essential Fellini set. Criterion does a really nice job with these box sets that really turns the spotlight on a specific director and just lets you go through maybe not their complete filmography, but a good slice of their work. Tony says, let's do that, James. Yes, let's figure it out. Let's hit up on Instagram and figure it out. Reginald says, Seven Seal was the first Bergman film I watched and still my favorite. It's a great one. It's funny. It's not for everybody, and I think that can be said of a number of Bergman films and really any director. I mean, no director and no film is for everybody. You have to sort of be in a particular, mood or a mindset to absorb some of these films. But man, if you're in that space, very rewarding to go through some of these films. And The Seventh Seal, I recently rewatched it, and it's a film that I can see myself going back to over and over again over the years, and just letting it soak in and absorbing it, and just contemplating, what is he trying to say here, what's he trying to say there, really breaking down Max von Sydow's character. Just an incredibly contemplative piece of work, along with Persona and many of his other films that we'll talk about. So Gerald says, I'm a newbie to Bergman as well, have a Bergman set and a few Criterion releases as well. Okay, and then Reginald says Seven Seal, and a lot of Bergman gets the reputation of being dark, but it's also very funny at times. Absolutely, yeah. There are some comical moments in the Seven Seal, with some of the characters and their banter amongst each other, and you kind of appreciate that. Upon future watches, you sort of pick up on those things, and it's kind of nice. Jason says my favorite Ingmar Bergman film is Through a Glass Darkly. Awesome. Awesome. So this is our latest entry in our Director Spotlight series. This is entry 2 in our summer series. So this summer, we're covering Steven Spielberg. We did that in May. So just after Memorial Day, we kicked off the summer, or the unofficial start of summer, with Taste of Steven Spielberg films. This month, we're doing Ingmar Bergman tonight. Next month, we plan to do M. Night Shyamalan, which is right before the release of his upcoming film Trap, starring Josh Hartnett, which I am very much looking forward to checking out. So Trap is coming up. I have a reaction to that trailer on this channel, so check that out. I'm really looking forward to that film. I really think that film has, if this is typical Shyamalan, what he's presented in the trailer is probably a little different than what we're actually going to see. So it'll be interesting to see, because the way the trailer presents it, it makes you think that Josh Hartnett is the serial killer, and I have a feeling that it might not quite be that. So, but we shall see. So then, in the month of September, to close out the summer, we're going to do a taste of Bong Joon-ho films. So it's Spielberg, Bergman, Shyamalan, and what's his name? Bong Joon-ho are our directors for the spotlights for the summertime. So looking forward to all of that. Let's see here. Culture Genie says, hey, Tony. And Reginald says, the beard is looking real clean. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. I actually got it trimmed this afternoon. I had picked up my son, and he got a haircut. And I said, hey, can this same barber, can you trim up my beard? And he said, I think I can do that. And he took care of me pretty good, I think. Jason, I'm currently watching that, halfway through it as well. Watching Through a Glass Darkly is what he's referring to. Gungshi says, hi, James, and everyone in the chat. So, yes. So, hello, Gungshi, to you as well. So, yeah, this is Taste of Ingmar Bergman films. And I don't know what's going on with this thing here. I had... oh, my God. Whoa, wait a minute, y'all. This is a first. This is live right here on YouTube. Here, y'all are catching this. That is a first. I actually knocked my camera down. So bear with me. Oh my goodness. Wow. Y'all are catching this live. Live and living. Oh, this broke. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. That is a first. That is a first. So, yeah. So sorry about that, guys. Yeah, my goodness. I tell you what, we have to kind of improvise here sometimes. And this is one of those times. Something actually broke here, but I'm improvising on my iPhone 14 here that I'm looking at here. So I do apologize for that, but we'll just roll with it. We will roll with it. Hopefully this is looking all right. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to present some information here. Let's see. That appears to be a durable camera. LOL. Yes, yes. Yeah, that's why you put a case on these iPhones, so that way so that way you don't break them. Yeah. Spoke too soon. We're still good people. And Gerald said, just like on a real movie set, duct tape is a production guy's best friend. Yeah, I mean, guys, y'all are seeing this is the behind the scenes. This is the behind the scenes stuff on YouTube. And that's the benefit of doing things pre-recorded is that you can kind of edit them out before you ever see it. In this case, you actually saw it. So there you go. So let me go ahead and share some information here on Ingmar Bergman as we continue our taste of Director's Spotlight series. So this is Ingmar Bergman. Ingmar Bergman, he delved into the human soul, revealing the complexities of existence with profound insight. And that is a very true summation of Ingmar Bergman in his work. Of course, he is a director. He was a director from Sweden. You see here Ingmar Bergman pictured on the set of one of his films to the left, and then to the right, you see him pictured with Liv Ullmann and B.B. Anderson, just two of his wonderful muses that he worked with over the years in many of his films. And that's one of the great things I like about Bergman and so many directors is you'll see that they work with certain people through multiple films. Like, for example, Christopher Nolan, he's worked with like Cillian Murphy through a lot of films. He's appeared in a number of his films. And of course, recently won the Academy Award for Best Actor for Oppenheimer, deservedly so. And he's worked with many actors through multiple films. Same with like Quentin Tarantino in a lot of these films. Hitchcock. A lot of these directors, work with the same people throughout multiple films, and Ingmar Bergman is no exception to that. So the four films that I'm going to talk about in this director spotlight series for Ingmar Bergman, it's going to be four of his films that just gives you a taste of what he has contributed to the world of cinema. The four films I'm going to cover are The Seventh Seal from 1957, this amazing film starring Max von Sydow. I'm going to talk about Wild Strawberries here as well. We're going to talk about the infinitely contemplative and film that is the ultimate film to make you think, and it's Persona, starring Liv Ullmann and B.B. Anderson. Wonderful film. I actually have this on this dual format edition that is now out of print. But yeah, Persona, and Fanny Alexander, the theatrical version, which I have in the Ingmar Bergman set. Now, because it is a Criterion Collection sale, we're going to talk about physical media releases for Criterion that you ought to consider during the 50% off sale, including, many of his films like Autumn Sonata, The Magician, The Virgin Spring, Cries and Whispers. All of these are highly, highly recommended. And of course, as a number of you have mentioned so far, we'll take a look at this wonderful set, Ingmar Bergman Cinema, which all of these films that I've shown as separate releases appear in this set. And we'll take a look at that set, and that'll give you, a visual to look at as you are considering, hey, I'm thinking about a box set to pick up during this Criterion Collection sale. Should I consider the Ingmar Bergman set? Well, if you're interested in foreign cinema, I think you ought to consider it. If you have an interest in exploring this particular director, or if you know that you love Ingmar Bergman films, if that's the case, it's an absolute no-brainer. Definitely consider picking it up. But if you're looking to explore a filmmaker that maybe you've never, dove into before, the Ingmar Bergman set is an excellent, excellent way to do that. If you're open to that kind of thing, it's not for everybody. If you're, open to foreign language films, open to exploring, a new director, that's a great way to do that. Do it. So those are the four films I'm going to focus on. I want to know in the comments section, if you were doing a director spotlight entry, what films would you choose for Ingmar Bergman? Because as I say on all of these entries, choosing 3 or 4 films is not going to give you the full depth and breadth of any director's work, because no 3 or 4 films is going to do that, especially for a director like Ingmar Bergman. But the idea is to just give you a taste of what Bergman has done and what he has contributed to the world of cinema. So let me know what 4 films you would choose. So let's take a look at some of Bergman's background. Of course, he was born in Uppsala, Sweden in 1918. He attended university at Stockholm, Sweden, Stockholm University in Sweden, of course. He attended, from what I understand, he didn't finish school there, but he did attend at Stockholm University. Getting a taste of my spearmint tea here. And then, of course, if you are familiar with Bergman's work, you'll know that he spent a lot of time and filmed a number of his films at this place called Faroe Island, which is off the coast of Sweden. Very beautiful island. And there's a documentary called Bergman Island, which appears on one of these Criterion releases. And it's also in the Bergman set, where a documentarian spent time with Ingmar Bergman on his in his later years on Bergman Island. And then there's also another film in the collection called Bergman Island that came out recently that I'll show you on the Criterion site, which I would also recommend picking up in this Criterion sale. And I did a review of that on this channel. It's called Bergman Island. And so I'll show that to you in a few minutes. So this is a little background on Mr. Bergman, born in Uppsala, Sweden in 1918. Actually born the same year my grandfather was born. So yeah. And then we have here the first film here, The Seventh Seal, 1957. So this is The Seventh Seal. This is the separate edition that is available on Blu-ray in the Criterion collection. This is the Blu-ray edition that I've had for a number of years. It's also available on 4K Ultra HD. It's been recently upgraded. So there's a 4K edition available that's separate here. Spine number 11 in the Criterion collection. I have not done that upgrade yet. I'm on the fence as to whether or not I want to do that upgrade. If you happen to have this on 4K and you have an opinion on that, let me know that in the comments section. But it's also available in this. Let me just come out of here real quick. It's also available on this. Let me see. Yeah, it's also available on this wonderful set here, Ingmar Bergman Cinema, that you ought to consider picking up here. And what's beautiful about this set, folks, and I'll just go ahead and give you a tour of this set. Since this is a Taste Director series for Ingmar Bergman, but it's also a Criterion recommendations video. So this is the box for the set. You see on the back here, it lists the films. Check that out. Shows you all the wonderful special features. But check out this list of films, folks. Isn't that incredible? That's the inside of the empty box there. But then on the inside, you have these two wonderful items right here. Okay. One of the items is this book, thick book. Look how thick this book is, folks. Look how thick that book is, Ingmar Bergman Cinema. And on the back, you have a picture of the man himself right there, Ingmar Bergman. On the front here, you have Max von Sydow from the Virgin Spring. And check out this picture. When you open it up, you are welcomed by this wonderful image here, which is incredible, beautiful. Ingmar Bergman Cinema. A book that just walks you through all the titles. There's a section for each title. And what's really cool about this set, folks, is I believe, to my knowledge, if you happen to have these separate editions, I know that all the essays from the separate editions have been carried over to this book. So all those essays are in this book. And I believe all the special features are included, have been brought over to the discs that are included in this wonderful folio here. So this folio here has all the discs. So you open it up here, Ingmar Bergman Cinema. And the way they break it up is it's like a theater. So you have a section here for opening night where it opens up with, I believe, Smiles of a Summer Night. Is that correct? Yeah, Smiles of a Summer Night, which is so good. Oh my goodness, what a nice film. Beautiful film. Yeah, Smiles of a Summer Night. And it's different sections. So, for example, I'm talking about to talk about the Seventh Seal. So that is in this set. It is on. It is number 16 in this set. There's a disc here for the Seventh Seal, which is right here. So yeah, that's the Seventh Seal. So each film, has its own disc for the most part. Some of them are, have multiple films on a disc. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Seventh Seal and how incredible that film is. It is just one of the great films from Mr. Bergman. If I can get forgive my clumsiness here. I'm just dealing with a camera that decided to go awry on me, but so bear with me. But yeah, so of course, with the Seventh Seal, it is one of his most iconic films. I mean, because of course you know about that scene where Max von Sydow's character, who is a knight, is playing chess with death. Basically, death is approaching him as he's been fighting in the Crusades, and basically he's telling him, "Hey, your time is up. The gig is up. Okay, I'm ready to do business with you now." And Max von Sydow's character says, "Hold on, I'll challenge you to a game of chess." And so that's a pretty famous part of this particular movie, and it's set during the Black Death, and it's really an existential masterpiece that follows a disillusioned knight played by Max von Sydow, who challenges death to a game of chess in his quest for meaning and redemption. So he's trying to find meaning and redemption in his life. Is so rich with symbolism, explores themes of faith, mortality, and the search for God in a seemingly indifferent world. The world just seems just kind of indifferent and uncaring. And it's a haunting, visually stunning meditation on human existence, as many of Bergman's films are. And I think one of the fascinating things that you'll find out as you go through the special features is you notice the world that you're put in the Seventh Seal. It's putting you in this medieval, in this time during the Crusades, and you feel like you're in that world. But then if you actually see the behind the scenes when they were shooting the film, it was shot like in this right in the backdrop of this like city. So it's kind of interesting seeing that they did a really nice job of sort of hiding that and shooting it in a way that you don't see those aspects, and making you feel like you're in that world. So they didn't break the illusion. That illusion is maintained based on the way that they shot it, and I think it's an absolutely stunning film. I would imagine that it looks amazing on 4K, but I just have not picked up the 4K for the Seventh Seal as of yet. But let me read the back of this case. It says, disillusioned and exhausted after a decade of battling in the Crusades, a knight, Max von Sydow, encounters death on a desolate beach and challenges him to a game of chess, a fateful game of chess. Much studied, imitated, even parodied, but never outdone. Never outdone. The Seventh Seal, Det Sujun in Siglet, Ingmar Bergman's stunning allegory of man's search for meaning, was one of the benchmark imports of America's 1950s art house heyday, pushing cinema's boundaries and ushering in a new era of moviegoing. Absolutely beautiful film. I mean, this is one of those films, again, may not be for everybody, just based on the way that this film is presented. Is allegorical. It's the type of film that you're either into that kind of thing, you're either interested in it, or you're not. So this is not one of those films that everybody's going to really embrace. But if you're interested and you're into this type of cinema, there's a lot of reward to be gained from diving into The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman. It is a stunningly beautiful film. It's a very contemplative film. It makes you think and just makes you ponder. And it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful film. I'm almost talking myself into getting this on 4K, but I'm not quite there yet. Let me know your opinion in the comments section. But yeah, that's the Seventh Seal. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful film. So I want to know what you think about the Seventh Seal and how you feel about this incredible movie. I will actually go to the comments here, see what y'all think. See, we have Liv Ullmann is just about the best actress in history. Yeah, I mean, Liv Ullmann is stunning. BB Anderson, stunning. I mean, Max von Sydow is incredible. Ingmar Bergman just worked with some incredible performers, and I just think that his films are captivating and just stunning and beautiful. Like the actor that I'll talk about in this next film is just another example. Just so I think he did a good job of directing them and just letting them do their thing and embody these characters in ways that shows you something about their characters, but also leaves you with infinite questions, pondering their inner motives and who they are as people. Archie Cinema says, I love the Criterion box set. Ashamed to say I haven't finished it yet. Don't be ashamed. I haven't finished it yet either. I'm still going through it too. So a lot of us are in the same boat. In fact, don't be ashamed. See it as an opportunity. You have an opportunity to finish it and to and to experience these films for the first time, which is, for people who have seen these films, they're jealous of you because they've already experienced it and you get to experience them for the first time. So feel good, Archie. Be happy. Doug Waddell says good picks, especially Fanny and Alexander. Okay. Fanny and Alexander miniseries is a masterpiece. All right. And Gerald says Bergman and Ozu seem similar, except Ozu used the family dynamic where it appears Bergman uses more focused individuals, characters, more than a group dynamic in storytelling. It's a very interesting take. Both are amazing directors for sure. See, Doug says my four films would probably be The Seventh Seal, Wild Strawberries, Fanny and Alexander, and Winter Light. Okay. And then Reginald says my four are Seventh Seal, The Virgin Spring, Fanny and Alexander, and Persona. So basically the same. Okay. He just added the Virgin Spring instead of Wild Strawberries. Okay, cool. My choices would be Fanny Alexander, The Seventh Seal, Hour of the Wolf, and Persona. Okay. See, The Seventh Seal was brilliant in intellectual conversation on life, spirituality, and death. Yeah, it absolutely is. It is a film that I can go back to over and over and over again. Not, I mean, probably on an annual basis. It's just one of those incredible films. And every time you go back to it, it is rewarding, it's enriching, it makes you think. It is absolutely beautifully shot. I'm really, folks. I'm really talking myself into getting that 4K now because I really do want this film in the best version possible. So I've all but talked myself into it by now. I've avoided it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it probably. The Seventh Seal was the first Criterion I ever bought back on DVD. It was a blind buy for me as I've only heard its reputation and wanted to have it. I loved then and still do now. Great, great. Yeah, like I said, folks, it's not for everybody. Some people will watch that film and be bored out of their minds. So it's not for everybody, but somebody else may watch it and love it and just get a ton of meaning out of it and be enriched for it. So it just depends on the individual. So, and either way is perfectly fine. Everybody has different tastes. So let's go back to the slides here. That's The Seventh Seal. The next film is Wild Strawberries. This is a film that is absolutely wonderful. All these films are wonderful. I mean, there is not a film that I'm going to talk about tonight. There's not a film in this entire set that is not wonderful. They're all wonderful. And that is the beauty of exploring these films and the beauty of the opportunity to capture this amazing set during this 50% off sale. I mean, there is no better time to get this than during this sale. It is just an absolute treasure that I'm looking forward to continuing to go through. But this is a really good film from Ingmar Bergman. I have the separate edition on Blu-ray here, and it is fantastic. It is from 1957, 92 minutes. It's in black and white. It's in Swedish with English subtitles. And I'll read the back of the case here. It says, traveling to accept an honorary degree, Professor Isaac Borg, masterfully played by veteran director Victor Sodstrom, is forced to face his past, come to terms with his faults, and make peace with the inevitability of his approaching death. Through flashbacks and fantasies, dreams and nightmares, Wild Strawberries dramatizes one man's remarkable voyage of self discovery. This richly humane masterpiece, full of iconic imagery, is a treasure from the golden age of art house cinema and one of the films that catapulted Ingmar Bergman to international acclaim. So, yes, Ingmar Bergman. This was based on the new restored 2K digital film transfer. This Blu-ray is really nice. I mean, this picture looks so nice on Blu-ray, and it's an edition that's been out for a while. It's spine number 139. I think this Blu-ray came out a number of years ago, and it's a really good one, folks. I highly recommend this film. It's just absolutely amazing. In fact, let me just show you the wonderful cast. I love the characters, like this lady here, this young lady here that played this character. Delightful, wonderful. I mean, the people in this film are absolutely amazing. You have Professor Isaac Bjork, played by Victor Sjöström, of course. You have Sarah, played by B.B. Anderson. So this is B.B. Anderson in 1957 in Wild Strawberries. So good. Ingrid Thulin played Marianne. You have Gunnar Bjornstrand, who played Evald. Agda was played by Julan Kindal. Just wonderful characters, as you see them all listed here. Just amazing. I love the way that this story was told with the flashbacks. Really, just showing us a character of a man who is an older man. He is, pretty elderly. He's going to Stockholm to get this award. I think it's Stockholm, right? Yeah, he's traveling to some city or university to get an award, and along the way, he's really reflecting back on his life and just sort of coming to terms with his life, coming to terms with the kind of man that he has become and the kind of man that he ultimately wants to be before the end of his days. And it's an absolutely stunningly beautiful film. I think the characters are absolutely amazing. I think BB Anderson's wonderful in this film, and it's just a beautiful film, a beautiful story by Ingmar Bergman that again makes you contemplate life and think about your existence and think about the meaning of life, but in a different setting. Instead of during the Crusades, now this is modern day. Of course, this is 1950s modern day, but you know makes you think about life. It's a very introspective. It's a road movie, so I like road trip films. Um, follows his aging professor, reflecting on his life and confronting his past during a journey to receive an honorary degree. Through poignant flashbacks and surreal dream sequences, Bergman examines themes of memory, regret, and the passage of time. The passage of time. While Strawberries is a deeply personal and touching film that resonates with universal truths about the human condition. So, and that is really representative of a lot of Bergman's work, as it just reflects on the human condition, and beautifully so. So I will go back out here and I will see what y'all have to say here. What do y'all have to say? Let's see. Gerald says Black Narcissus is a film that isn't directed by Bergman, but I think would fit in his filmography if it were directed by him. Yeah, that is the Powell and Pressburger film. Excellent film from them. Wouldn't it be great if that got a 4K upgrade? But that could also be a Bergman film potentially. Yeah, could have been. Let's see. Reginald said, I never got the escapism appeal some people have with movie. Turn off your brain and enjoy it. I like to think about films. Um, One reason why I like Bergman. Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, Reginald. And, I somewhat agree, but, I think every film fan is different. There are people who, have different tastes, and that's cool. A lot of people are not going to be into Ingmar Bergman films, they're going to be like, bored out of their minds watching these films, and I understand that and I respect that. Um, I'm definitely into modern films, action films, films that a lot of modern audiences would be into. But I also have, like yourself, an appreciation for these classic movies as well. I like films from all genres of cinema, but everybody, may not be into that kind of thing. So I understand that. Like black and white films. Some people are like, skip. I want, if it's not a film from 1980 and up to modern day, not interested, and that's cool. Let's see. Doug Waddell, you may know this, but the main actor in Wild Strawberries was a Swedish director who Bergman admired. Yes, yes, this man right here, played by was Victor Sjöström. I don't know his films, but it would be interesting to actually see some of his films and maybe get a little bit of where Bergman got his inspiration. So that's a very good tip, Doug. Thank you for that. But yeah, yeah, this is Wild Strawberries. Wild Strawberries, amazing film. It is. It's actually, it feels like it's ahead of its time. It is so incredibly beautiful. I mean, this has been on my shelf for a number of years, and I only recently discovered this film and actually popped it in the player and watched it, and it is absolutely amazing. Let's see. One is in the Criterion collection, The Phantom Carriage. I've never seen it. Well, let me look something up real quickly here. Hold on. Maybe we're getting a connection as we speak. Let's check this out. The Phantom Carriage. Oh, aha! You see, this is why it's nice to do live streams, folks. This is why it's nice to do live streams. This is an illustration of why it is nice to do live streams. I'm going to show you right here if I can. Here we go. Doug, I think it was Doug who just showed us this. Doug, I appreciate you. Thank you. Because I'm about to share my screen. Yeah, this is The Phantom Carriage by Victor Sjöström. See if he has any other films in the collection. Yeah, so this is his only film in the collection. But yeah, this is a film directed by the actor who played in Wild Strawberries. I've never made that connection before. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, so this is the story based on a novel by Nobel Prize winner Selma Lagerlof, concerns an alcoholic, abusive ne'er-do-well, Soderstrom himself. So he directed this film and played in it. Very interesting. This is from 1921, Swedish film, Spine 579, and it is going to be part of the sale. It's part of the sale, The Phantom Carriage. This is played. This is a film from 1921. So if you're interested and this is probably a silent film. Is it silent? Yeah, I think it's a silent film. It says 1920 on here, but 1921 down here. So early 1920s. So, but yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting us know about that, Doug. Appreciate that, sir. But yeah, that's Wild Strawberries. So that's a little bit more information on Wild Strawberries. The actor here that you see here, Victor Sjöström, was a director. He masterfully played this character in Wild Strawberries, and he also was a director that inspired Ingmar Bergman. So that's some extra layers there in texture. And of course, Phantom Carriage is recommended in the Criterion Collection as well. So the next film that we will go to is a film that, if you ask me, what is my favorite Bergman film so far? What is the Bergman film that has really impacted me the most so far? It's probably this one right here. This film right here, Persona, is a film that is mind bending. It is challenging. It is infinitely rewatchable from the standpoint of trying to understand the meaning of it and what is going on, and the relationship between these two women, what it means, what it says about personalities, what it says about the human condition, what it says about, who we are as people. Um, it's an absolutely incredible journey to go through to watch this incredible movie. It's a story of two women. One woman is a nurse, another woman is an actress. The actress um, is mute. One day she was going through her acting thing and she just went mute all of a sudden. And this nurse, who's played by BB Anderson, is assigned to treat her, and they develop a relationship, a friendship, a kinship over time. And you see the connection and their personas kind of blending and molding together to the point where you kind of wonder where one begins and one ends. You wonder, are they the same person? Are they truly two different women? Are their personalities sort of melding into one another? Or are they the same person expressing two different personalities? Which is correct? Is the first correct or the second correct? The answer is yes. It depends on how you look at it. And it is infinitely um, interpretable, right? And you can interpret it in a number of different ways. And either of those ways is totally valid. Even Ingmar Bergman himself said that he wanted to leave it up to the viewer to interpret this film. I happen to have Persona in this wonderful dual format edition that I will keep, even though it is uh, in this Bergman set. Of course, it's included in this Bergman set. It's actually, what page is it on? Is Persona on? Let me find it real quickly. Let me find Persona. To date, my favorite Bergman film. To date, my favorite Bergman film is Persona. It's number 22. It's centerpiece 3. And it's right here. Persona. Amazing film. But I happen to have it in this wonderful dual format edition. Back when Criterion was doing their dual formats. And you'll see here on one side you have the BB Anderson right here. It says BB Anderson. And then you have Liv Ullmann. Liv Ullmann played the actress, Miss Vogler. BB Anderson played Alma, the nurse. And of course, you see on the inside, you have these discs. You have 2 DVDs in this dual format edition. They don't print those anymore. And the Blu-ray. And you see the two sides. The two women. Are they two women, or are they one woman with multiple personalities? You don't really know. If you want to interpret it that way, that's totally valid. If you want to interpret it as two women whose personalities kind of blend together and kind of fold on top of each other, you can interpret it that way as well. By the mid-60s, Ingmar Bergman had already conjured many of the cinema's most unforgettable images, but with the radical persona, this supreme artist attained new levels of visual poetry. In the first of a series of legendary performances for Bergman, Liv Ullmann plays a stage actor who has inexplicably gone mute. An equally mesmerizing BB Anderson is the garrulous young nurse caring for her in a remote island cottage. While isolated together there, the women perform a mysterious spiritual and emotional transference that would prove to be one of cinema's most influential creations. Acted with astonishing nuance and shot in stark contrast and soft light by the great Sven Nivsvist, Persona is a penetrating, dreamlike work of profound psychological depth. It is truly one of the most incredible films that I've ever seen. It's one of the most cinematic, enigmatic, and mysterious films I've ever seen. It is a film that is very similar to like Mulholland Drive, where the meaning is infinitely escapable. I mean, it is it evades you. you know, even no matter how much you try to understand and try to put a pin on what's going on, you can never walk away feeling 100% confident that okay, that's what it is. My own personal interpretation of it is I really think most likely that they are the same woman with multiple personalities. That's probably what it is. But it could be that they're two different women. I don't know. What do you think? But it's just an absolutely stunning film. Liv Ullmann plays this mute actress, and so she does not really have much to say. And so it's BB Anderson who's doing a lot of the talking in this film, and seeing their interaction together and their back and forth with Liv Ullmann's expressions and her quiet expressions, and BB Anderson in all of the things that she's talking about. She's talking about some pretty freaky stuff at certain points, and seeing their transference over time and what's happening and trying to make sense of it is one of the most satisfying puzzles of cinema that you can ever go through if you're up for that type of experience. Again, this is one of those films where, if you're the kind of person that you got to have, a clear understanding of what's going on in the movie, then movies like this, movies like Mulholland Drive, are not going to be for you, but if you like a cinematic mystery, if you like an enigmatic type of a cinematic journey that is so incredibly satisfying in giving you a challenge to explore and try to imagine and interpret what's going on, there is no greater film in the history of cinema than Persona to give you that. So it is an absolutely stunning and beautiful, beautiful piece of art. So let me see what y'all think about it. Did he direct The Phantom Carriage? Yes, he did. He did. Victor Solstrom directed The Phantom Carriage, inspired the Shining famous axe scene. Awesome. I still have to watch The Phantom Carriage on the Criterion channel. Heard it was a classic. Yeah, I haven't watched it either. I'll have to check it out. I had the MGM DVD box set that includes Persona, Shame, Hour of the Wolf, The Serpent's Egg, The Passion of Anna, as well as this called the Ingmar Bergman collection. Okay. Gary says, how many of Bergman's films are included in that Criterion set? All of them? Well, basically, I'm not sure if it's 100% of. Well, it says in honor of Ingmar Bergman's 100th birthday. So this came out a number of years ago. Well, actually in 2018, I guess, or 2018 or 2019. It says the Criterion Collection offers this comprehensive collection of films by the great director. So I think that this listing of all these films, I think is pretty comprehensive. There might be a short here or maybe something out there that he did that may not be in here, but I think this set, to answer your question, is pretty comprehensive based on what they've described here. It has basically all of his films. So yeah, it should be pretty comprehensive. Well, okay. Reginald says Gary, no, is 39, not including the alternate cuts of his TV miniseries. He has at least 70 films, I think. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, maybe I misspoke. Thanks, Reginald. Still looks like a goodbye, especially a goodbye. Yeah, a good buy, especially at half the price. Yeah. But yeah, I do think that this captures, it's probably similar to the Fellini set is the essential, Fellini. This is the essential Bergman. So it's got the essential films from Ingmar Bergman: The Seventh Seal, Persona, Smiles of a Summer Night, all of these wonderful films. Um, Virgin Spring, Autumn Sonata, Cries and Whispers, all the beautiful films. The theater was almost a big part of Bergman's career, and the stage features heavily in his filmography. This part of Fanny and Alexander makes it a good choice to understand his work writ large. Okay. Gary, if you like at least half of the films in the set, then I think it's worth it. There are only a handful of bad films, in my opinion: The Touch, The Serpent's Egg, and a few others. Cool. Well, Reginald, it's good to know that you are a big Bergman fan. I mean, he is, the more I see of his filmography, the more I absolutely love his films. He is one of the great masters of cinema, and he is definitely climbing the charts for me. And who knows, maybe after I finish his filmography, he might etch a place in my Mount Rushmore of directors. So I need to do a video on that based upon compiling all of the input from the community. I did a question recently on my community tab asking, what four directors would you put on your Mount Rushmore of directors? And I've gotten a lot of good feedback. So I need to compile that feedback and come back here and share that with you, what the results of that unscientific survey was. So I'll do that sometime soon. All right. So let's go back to our presentation here. And the next item here is Fanny and Alexander from 1982. So this is the theatrical version. There's also a TV miniseries, and both are included in this wonderful set. And this is the one that I do not have a separate edition for. I do not have this separately, but it is available, and it is under closing night in this section. So it's section 27 and 28. Section 27 has the television version, which is from 1983, 320 minutes, and the theatrical version comes in at 188 minutes from 1982. And so they are a couple of the last items in the set here, 27 and 28, right here. And then, of course, after that, you have the making of Fanny and Alexander in this last section over here. So yeah, really good stuff. This set, I simply cannot recommend this enough. It is one of the best pieces of work from the Criterion collection. And I think that if you're a fan of cinema, if you are either already a big fan of Ingmar Bergman, or you are just someone who wants to explore a filmmaker, this is a great way to do it. Fantastic way to do it. And so, yeah, Fanny and Alexander, this is basically Bergman's epic semi-autobiographical work. This film offers a richly detailed portrait of childhood and family life filled with both joy and sorrow. Through the eyes of young Alexander, we experience the warmth of family gatherings and the harshness of his authoritarian stepfather. Fanny and Alexander is a beautiful, sprawling saga that encapsulates Bergman's mastery of storytelling and his ability to blend the magical with the mundane. So let's actually go over to the Criterion site. And let me stop sharing that and let me share my screen again. And we'll go to the Criterion site. And we'll look up Fanny and Alexander. The theatrical version. Through the eyes of 10-year-old Alexander, we witness the delights and conflicts of the Ekdahl family, a sprawling bourgeois clan in turn of the 20th century Sweden. Ingmar Bergman intended Fanny and Alexander as his swan song, and it is the director's warmest and most autobiographical film, an Academy Award-winning triumph that combines his trademark melancholy and emotional intensity with immense joy and sensuality. Bergman described Fanny and Alexander as the sum total of my life as a filmmaker. Now let's see what did it win. I'm curious. I'm curious. Fanny and Alexander. It won an Academy Award. Two young Swedish children in the 1900s experienced the many comedies and tragedies of their lively and affectionate theatrical family, the Ekdahls. Let's see here. What award did it win? What did it win? I'm just curious. Does it say? Sorry to waste time with this, but I'm just I'm trying to see what award it won. Okay. I don't want to waste any more of your time with that. If you happen to know what Academy Award it won, put that in the comments section. Let's see here. Uh, Doug says, I think the television version of Fanny and Alexander may be the best film in the entire Criterion collection. Maybe. I have not seen the television version. I need to check that out. That is extremely high praise. I need to check that out. And of course, I have it in this wonderful set, so I need to actually do that. So I have a lot more of Bergman to explore, but that is, of course, Fanny and Alexander from 1982. But let me know what you think about both the theatrical version and the television version. Do you agree with Doug that it is one of the best or the best film in the Criterion collection? That's high praise. But yeah, those are the films that I wanted to talk about in this taste of Ingmar Bergman films. The Seventh Seal, absolutely stunning film, amazing film. If you're open to that kind of film. Wild Strawberries, starring Victor Sjöström, who was himself a director who inspired Bergman and also directed The Phantom Carriage, which is available in the Criterion collection. That's good to know. I learned that tonight. Persona, probably my favorite Bergman film. Stunning achievement by Ingmar Bergman, starring both B.B. Anderson and Liv Ullmann in a legendary film in all of cinema. I tell you what, if you want to go through a mind-bending experience and you want a double feature to give you a good mind-bending experience, you have an open weekend and nothing to do but maybe watch a couple of movies, and you want something that's mind-bending and mind-trippy, pop in Persona and then pop in Mulholland Drive and just let your mind go into a million different places. And then, of course, Fanny and Alexander, the theatrical version. Those are the four films I included in this taste of Ingmar Bergman films. All of these are highly recommended for the Criterion collection, along with the Bergman set. So I wanted to make this a taste director series for Ingmar Bergman, talk about a few of his films, but also given that it is the 50% off sale in July, just saying, hey, I recommend all of his titles for the upcoming, for this current sale, including these titles here, which are all absolutely brilliant. Cries and Whispers is another great film that is available, of course, in the set. But if you want to just get a separate, you may approach it a couple different ways. You may say, you know what? I've heard of Bergman, never seen any of his films. Don't know if I want to splurge for that full set. Maybe I should try some of his films. Maybe you ought to pick one or two of these in this sale. And then if you like what you see, or maybe choose some of his films, if you have the channel, sample a few on the Criterion channel, stream a couple on the channel, check them out. Or if you happen to have a local library that has any of these, this is The Magician. Really, really good title. And of course, Autumn Sonata. Autumn Sonata is really cool because this is the one and only collaboration between director Ingmar Bergman and famous Swedish actress Ingrid Bergman. So you probably heard of Ingrid Bergman, who played in Casablanca, who played in Notorious. Famous actress Ingrid Bergman. She was a wonderful actress from Sweden, but they had never really worked together except on this film right here, Autumn Sonata. And this was, of course, Ingmar Bergman toward the latter part of his life, and Ingrid Bergman toward the latter part of her days. This is from 1978. So in this film, Ingrid Bergman plays a mother. Just absolutely fantastic. You have Liv Ullmann, who played her eldest daughter in this film. So, of course, Liv Ullmann, who played in Persona, is in this. Just an absolutely amazing, amazing film. So, yeah, these are some fantastic titles to consider for this Barnes & Noble sale. Hope you enjoyed this Criterion Collection sale edition of Taste of Director Series for Ingmar Bergman. Let's see. We have Adrian James saying hello. Hello, Adrian. Hope you're doing well. John saying hello. How are you doing? And then Gungshi saying Fanny and Alexander won Oscars for Best Foreign Language Film. Thank you. Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, and Best Costume Design 1984. So that is absolutely awesome. That's good to know. Thank you. But I hope y'all have enjoyed this edition of Taste Director Series. This is our Director Spotlight series. This is the second in our summer series for Taste of Director series. That series that we had Steven Spielberg featured in May. In June, we're featuring Ingmar Bergman. Next month, we're going to feature M. Night Shyamalan before the movie Trap comes out. And then in September, we're going to close out the summer and get ready to look toward the fall. But we're going to close out summer with a spotlight on Bong Joon-ho in Taste of Bong Joon-ho films. So exciting things coming up. Looking forward to those spotlights. And again, thanks y'all for joining, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your Saturday night and your Sunday and your weekend. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time at the movies. Hope you're enjoying the Criterion sale and everything that you are putting your hands to do. Gungshi says, I really enjoyed that, James. Thank you. Thank you, Gungshi. Thank y'all for joining. Hope y'all have a great one. Stay safe and cool out there. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time at the movies. Peace.